Hi, friends. Welcome back to another plan with me. This week I'm memory planning December 1st to the 7th, and I'm using this kit from Scribble Prints Go, which is Home Alone inspired. So, right now I'm putting down some gold bowl washi from Simply Gilded. However, I do end up pulling this up because I felt like I needed more red at the bottom, so I did just use the bottom washi that came with the kit. Plus, I found some gold bow overlays from SPC, so I just used those instead. But I don't actually do that on here, I just do it later on. Yeah, so this kit is, like I said, Home Alone inspired, and there's some full boxes that represent the first and second movie. And we did end up watching Home Alone 2 this week, so that's why I pulled in this kit. I'm just so happy with all the boxes. I had a hard time choosing because I think it comes with like 13 full boxes and I use 11, so I had to cut 2 out. Actually, unfortunately, cut out the dad and one of Kevin's boxes, but I'm just like, I can't use them all. So up until this point, my husband has actually never seen Home Alone 2, so I was pretty excited for him to watch it. He didn't wanna watch it for the longest time because he felt like the first one, like how they always butcher the second one and it's never as good as the first one, which is understandable, but I told him this one was pretty good, and he ended up really liking it so much that he feels like it's better than the first one. Which just goes to show that you should always give something a shot, whether you think you're going to like it or not, you never know. Plus, always listen to your freaking wife. I mean, that's another lesson in there too. We also watched another movie that I've never seen. It's like the Jim Carrey Mr. Penguin Poppers, I think it's called. I mean, I probably should have looked it up. I don't even know if that's the title, but I've never seen it. So we made a deal that we would take turns picking Christmas movies and actually spoiler alert, we never watched anything since this, so that went that went downhill pretty fast. I also watched another movie on Saturday of this week called Weapons because I heard someone else recommend it and it was really spooky and creepy, but I loved it. And it was like not Christmas vibes at all. But anyway, getting into the day by day, the first thing on Monday I'm marking is that I read. And I'm using this book sticker from book stack sticker from Alley Cat Shop. And then to mark work this week, I'm using all these little cute Once More with Love stickers, like with the sweaters. I use them pretty much all week for that. And then with this Coffee Monsters Commodity, I'm just marking that I was sick. I started to feel sick. I actually didn't get very sick. I just was sick for a couple days and then it was gone. It was really weird. With this small icon, this car icon, I'm marking that I did errands, and I'm just realizing that this icon is really orange and not red at all, but it's okay. And then with a movie marquee from the kit, marking that we watched Mr. Penguin Poppers this day, and then I just finished the evening with some Black Ops 7, so I'm using a 3 years apart controller sticker. Moving on to Tuesday, first thing I'm marking is Tim Hortons, and I'm using this paper planner, prairie planner coffee cup with a Christmas tree on it to mark that. And then this day, me and one of my aunts went to the city, like the bigger city, to visit my other aunt in the hospital. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned her before. She's just a very sickly lady. She's always getting very sick. She has a very bad immune system, so she spends a lot of her time in the hospital, unfortunately. But this day, we took a day trip to go visit her, and I'm just using another car icon from a leftover kit. With these girls from Happy Day, I'm just marking that we did visit her, in fact, and I couldn't stay that long because I was scared to visit because I was kind of feeling sick, so I kind of visited from it's gonna sound really dumb, but I was kind of behind a glass, looking in, waving in like a creep. Yeah. So while my other aunt was visiting, I decided to run some errands in the city. To mark that I went to Dollar Tree, I'm using a leftover shopping bag from the Prairie Planner. I always go to the Dollaramas in this city because they're a lot bigger than ours. And this is where I bought my students gifts from. And before you come for me, like, I have a lot of students. There's no way I could afford to buy them all anything else from anywhere else. And I'm totally kidding. I know nobody would really judge me on that, but yeah, I have so many students this year. But you can still manage to find some pretty good stuff there. And then to mark, I went to Crumble. I'm using this Paper Shire festive like donut thing to mark that. And then when I got back home, I'm just using these. Oh, I don't even mark where they're from, but I played some Black Ops 7. Oh, Coffee Brain Plans. Plans. I did mark it. Okay. And then moving on to Wednesday, the first thing I'm marking is that I read, and I'm using this sticker from the Prairie Planner, I think. And then to mark work, I'm using another Munchkin from Once More with Love with another little festive sweater. And then with this emoji, still marking that I was kind of sick. And then this day, we got some very exciting news. So I'm using this paper Shire bunny to mark that with a bunch of little hearts. And this is where I watched the first episode of Stranger Things. So I'm using another paper Shire bunny. I think that's supposed to be 11. I'm not sure. I think it is. And then we just had cuddles that night. So I'm using these munchkins from Once More with Love to mark cuddles. On to Thursday, the first thing I'm marking is that I read. So I'm using this Once More with Love munchkin, reading this book. And then I'm marking work the same way with another munchkin. And then to mark that I picked up some wax melts from a local shop here in my city, I'm using this wax sticker from SPC. She made me she actually made a bunch of them. I just happened to buy one, but she made like advent calendars with these wax melts. And I finally actually got to open my first one today because there's 12 and I decided to do a countdown backwards. Not important anyway. Next thing I'm working is that I picked up Tim Hortons hot chocolate. And I'm using this Very Cute Designs sticker. And this is the day that we watched Home Alone 2, so I just felt like hot chocolate would go well with it. Although I only drank half of mine, and I don't even think my husband touched his. Like, it was just, we weren't in the mood for hot chocolate, funnily enough, whatever. And then the last thing I'm marking is that I just watched some YouTube, so I'm using this munchkin with a play button that says binge, because that's literally what I did. Oh, and I forgot to mention that house sticker to mark Home Alone 2 is from the kids. It was like from the deco sheet. And moving on to Friday, first thing I'm marking is that I read, and I'm using this sticker from Carl's Creations. And then marking work with another munchkin wearing a green sweater. I think that one's my favorite. So cute. And then this day, oh my gosh. To mark this, I'm using this Prairie Planner Girl elf costume looking thing to mark that literally all day me and my students just built our bulletin board. Our school is having it hasn't even happened yet, but they're having a bulletin board contest, and we literally spent the whole day building this thing. And to be fair, I only had 12 students, I think, because it was a weather day, so we didn't do very much of anything else, but just one of my students, she was even going home and she was saying to her friend, oh, we just did arts and crafts all day. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's kind of terrible, but it's kind of funny. It's whatever. You live one life, we're going to win. We better win, because I'll be mad if we don't. We spent so much, we worked hard on it. My students put a lot of work into it, and it was so cool because they were team working with each other, and there was nobody fighting, because usually my students like to argue about every little thing, but they were just all having a great time building this thing. Anyway, moving on to the second half of Friday, I'm marking that I went for a walk, and I'm using this Prairie Planner shoe sticker to mark that. And then we had Popeyes for supper, and I can't remember where this is from. And I didn't mark anything for it. Okay. To mark cuddles, I'm using these munchkins from Once More with Love, and then to mark Black Ops 7, I'm using another controller from 3 Years Apart. On to Saturday, the first thing I'm marking is that I was up early, so I'm using this Once More with Love alarm clock sticker to mark that. And then I had breakfast, so I'm using Beneva Creations sticker to mark breakfast, and then I had my nails done, and I don't remember where that nail polish sticker is from. And then to mark that we watched a soccer game. I can't remember which trophy or whatever this was. It was a final game between Vancouver and Miami. And I was so devastated because Vancouver lost. I was cheering for them. And the soccer sticker is from Carl's Creations. And I told my husband I'm never watching soccer again. I was so mad. And yeah, anyway, moving on, that sticker to mark, I pulled stickers. I'm using this emoji sticker from the Coffee Monsters Co. And this is the day that I watched that creepy movie called Weapons, and I'm just using the popcorn from the Prairie Planner. And then I played some more Black Ops 7 this evening, so I'm using another 3 years apart controller. Sorry, I'm trying to talk fast and I'm probably not making any sense anymore. And finally, on to Sunday. The first thing I'm marking is that I went to do another walk, and I'm using another shoe sticker from the Prairie Planner. I am not walking outside, by the way, because it's just snowy and slippery everywhere. I actually signed up for the walking track in our city. So I told myself that I need to start walking because we were eating out so much and it's not good for you. So I need to start working out. I'm starting off by walking. And yeah, and then after I did my walk, I went to get a Tim Hortons, and that sticker's from the Prairie Planner, I believe. And then I came home and played more Black Ops 7, so I'm using another 3 years apart controller, the same one that I've been using. And then me and my aunt went to bingo, so I'm using this dice sticker. It just makes sense because wait, I guess it's not dice, it's die because there's only one. But yes, I just thought it would make sense because it represents a form of gambling. Gambling's not good for you. I don't recommend. Me and my aunt have actually gone from going once a week to once a month. So that was pretty good for us. And after that I went to get groceries. So I'm using this leftover Prairie Planner grocery bag to mark that. And then to mark Edo, I'm using this Once More with Love noodle bowl. I actually had one pulled and then I can't find it. For the life of me, I don't know where it went. So I had to pull this other one. And then after that, I'm marking that I played Fortnite with my brother. So I'm using these Fox and Cactus cats playing. And then I just had really bad insomnia this night. So I'm using this zombie emoji from the Coffee Monsters Co. But yeah, thankfully I only had insomnia basically one time this week. So that was kind of a win. Anyway, hope you have a great day and a great week. Thank you for stopping by and thank you for watching. Bye.